I'm at a BAE Systems Hägglunds test track in Sweden, and behind me is a CV90, an infantry fighting vehicle, and today I'm going to get behind the wheel. I'm going to drive a CV90.
And remember now, you're not calling McRae.
What is an infantry fighting vehicle? An infantry fighting vehicle is a type of military armoured vehicle that essentially does two things. It can fight its way into battle and it brings infantry with it. On a spectrum of armoured vehicles, so one end you've got the main battle tank. Its only focus really is fighting. Very heavily armoured, manoeuvrable. In the middle you've got the infantry fighting vehicle, slightly more lightly armed, faster, and crucially it's got a space in the back to carry infantry. And then at the end of that spectrum you've got the armoured personnel carrier, usually a much smaller gun, more space to get more troops to the front. So this is kind of in the middle. It's a mix, if you like, between an armoured personnel carrier and a tank. And that's why behind me, the CV90, you've got a gun, you've got a turret, you've got tracks, you've got armour, crew of 3, and this has space for between 6 and 8 passengers depending on the configuration.
My name is Eric. I work here at the BAE Hägglunds. I do vehicle tests, components tests, and drive the vehicles.
And today you're also going to be a driving instructor?
Yes, today I'm going to be a driving instructor.
Okay, brilliant. Well, let's go and have a look.
Yes.
This is the first time I've driven anything,
except
anything
a
like
car.
This. Except a car. Except a car and a motorbike and a bicycle.
Yeah. So it's a very intuitive vehicle to drive. The hardest thing you got to notice is to release the parking brake.
Okay.
And then you put your right foot there and try to just slide in. Now you're gonna disappear a little bit. So now you just want to know, do you have a good view?
Yeah.
You see good? Yeah. Great.
How many? I got 3 pedals.
There are 3 pedals. There's like a car, it's an accelerator.
Yep.
It's a brake, service brake. And the 3rd pedal, that's the parking brake.
Gotcha.
Yes. So I'm gonna be up there in the turret. I'm gonna have this kind of helmet with the intercom, and we talk to each other.
Fantastic.
Do you feel ready?
Yeah.
Great. Then you put that one on. Hello.
Eric. Yep. Hello.
We have connection.
Tell me, what do the buttons, the thumb buttons do?
The thumb button.
Does that open the machine gun?
No, you don't get to do that from the driver's seat. Do you feel ready?
I feel ready.
Yes. Then we start the engine.
Okay. Oh, there she is.
Yes. So a little bit of gas. And just keep going straight forward.
Are we going over the ramp?
No, just going straight forward.
There are 1,400 CV90s in service across 10 countries in Europe. Sweden, where we are today, Norway, Denmark, Finland, Estonia, the Netherlands, Switzerland, Slovakia, the Czech Republic, and Ukraine. And another 500 are on order. Lithuania set to join the club of nations using these vehicles. To put that in context, 1,900 vehicles. That's more than, if you add together Germany's Puma, France's VBCI, the Italian Dardo, the Spanish and the Austrian Ascods. Indeed, even if you add in all of the planned 589 British Ajax and Ares variants that are due to come into service, that brings you to about 2,100 vehicles. So on par, all those countries combined, on par with the CV90 fleet. So I'm here with Tarkan Turkshan, the platform director of CV90 at BAE Systems Hägglunds up in Sweden. Tarkan, thanks for joining us. Can you just tell us what we're looking at? What is this?
What we're looking at right here is the CV90-30 Mark III. So actually what you're seeing is how each IFV is supposed to be. This is not made for, but with end users. It's about 35 tons and it will do a good 70 kilometers an hour on road, which is really fast if you're sitting on top of this vehicle. Reverse speed is about 30 kilometers an hour, and most important is its minimum speed. Yes, you wouldn't think so, but the trick is when you're going into a firing position with a vehicle, you don't want to race in there, because the moment you race in there, you create dust, movement, noise, so you're going to be seen. You want to crawl in there. So it's very important that you also have a minimum speed where you still have full control over the full vehicle at all times. This gun is a 30 millimeter gun, so it fires bursts, rounds, and yeah, it has an effective range of about 1800 meters on heavily armored targets.
Bursts of up to...
That depends on. You can select between 3, 5, 7 rounds. Just if you take a look at where the track starts compared to the vehicle front, it's quite forward, right? Here, if you look at this way.
Just vertically, how high off the ground that is?
So it will be the track that meets something first.
Okay.
Before the bottom of the vehicle does. So
right.
Then automatically you start climbing.
Okay.
Also the bottom of the vehicle allows you to slide over terrain. Yeah, you know, another advantage of the band track is, of course, you got more material on the ground, which means less ground pressure. So composite tracks, everybody says rubber tracks, but actually rubber is only on the outside. Inside, there's a lot of layers of different materials, because actually this track has more tension on it than a steel track.
Right.
So if you break it, or if you drive on a mine, there is a repair kit. So you can repair it and you can get, well, out of harm's way. But again, if you need to change it, you will need to third level maintenance to help you out.
This is amazing. I can't believe this is actually happening. I'm driving a CV90. This is the vehicle that, God forbid, would be defending Europe in the event of a war with Russia. It's NATO's most popular infantry fighting vehicle, more than 300 of them in service across 10 countries in Europe, hundreds more on order. First entered service 36 years ago, but it's been upgraded and upgraded and upgraded to keep it contemporary. And I've got to say, just from my limited experience here today of driving it, it's pretty intuitive. I don't claim to be a Formula One driver by any stretch of the imagination. Within just a few minutes, we're getting it round this test track. Admittedly not as fast or as hard as perhaps Eric would be doing. But most importantly, it's a lot of fun. So let's have a look at how the CV90 compares to other vehicles. The CV90 entered service in 1990. It weighs about 35 tons. It's got a 35 or a 40 millimeter gun, and it has a top speed of 43 miles per hour. It's configured usually to have 3 crew and 8 passengers. Now the British Ajax variant, which is still coming into service, it's heavier, it weighs 40 tons, it's got a 40 millimeter main gun. Its infantry carrying variant, known as Aries, is configured to take 2 crew and 4 passengers. So smaller numbers of people inside. It's got a smaller gun as well, a 12.7 millimeter gun. That's still coming into service now. The US Bradley, on the other hand, the oldest of the crowd we're looking at today, came into service in 1981. It weighs about 30 tons. It's configured to take 3 crew, 6 passengers, and has a 25 millimeter gun. The German Lynx vehicle, newer, came into service in 2015, configured with 3 and 8, 3 crew, 8 passengers, weighs 34 tons. Different versions can have a 30mm, 35mm main gun. Indeed, there are new variants coming out which may even have a 120mm main gun. So really straddling that gap between armoured fighting vehicle and tank. And the Russian Kurganet 25, yet to enter service properly, first appeared in 2019. Also, configuration 3.8, like so many of these vehicles, lighter though, just 25 tons with a 30mm cannon. But as I said, not yet in service.
Yes.
Without taking out the crane.
Yeah.
Eric, that was amazing. amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Amazing. Properly top 10 experiences. It's like, I don't know, say it's like driving a go-kart, but it was. It's so much fun. Pretty easy to get to grips with. Not that much to think about. Accelerator, brake and steering. And every time I was going around, I was trying to go a little bit faster, trying to improve my lap times. That was a lot of fun. So in the United Kingdom, they've struggled to bring their Ajax vehicle into service. We know it's running late. It's cost, well, it's a fixed price contract, but it's yet to really reach full operating capability. Have you learned lessons here from watching that experience?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's what we do is complex, and you don't get everything right the first time. So it's definitely lessons learned, and but also that you need a dialogue with the customer. How do you face when you come into situations, and you need to do trade-offs.
You said earlier that the specifications that the British Army put on the table, you need to wake up Newton, and that you were happy that you competed for it, but were happy that it hadn't come your way in the end. Can you explain that?
No, I would say in that time frame we're talking about, when the FRES program was on the table, we had the same situation with a number of our customers. They had the time to specify or sometimes over-specify, so it's not unique for UK in that sense. It's that when you had the time, you could try to find the perfect solution. But what we offered at that time, and we offered what we had and what we could improve from that point of view. But
am I right in thinking you're saying when we have time, when time is a luxury, you can seek the perfect vehicle?
Yes.
But when you don't have time, when there's a war raging on your doorstep, then you go with what you know works?
I had a general saying to me, Tommy, earlier on we had time and no money. Now we have money but no time. Okay. So that's where we are today, and I think there you are prepared. Time is of such importance, so you're prepared to do trade-offs. And I think the trade-offs will help you in the long run, because you will have a common vehicle with other nations and you can share things.
Europe is rearming. The twin shocks of the war in Ukraine and President Donald Trump coming into the White House have seen defence spending soar across Europe. In the European Union alone, in 2020, combined defence spending was some 234 billion euros. Last year, 2025, that figure had jumped to 381 billion euros. Across NATO, the nations that are meeting the minimum 2% target of spending 2% of their GDP on defence has jumped from just 7 allies in 2022 to 31 allies last year. Lithuania is spending 4%. Poland is spending 4.5%. And per capita, it's Norway that tops the list, spending $3,100 per head of population on defence. That's more than America, which is level with Denmark at about $2,400, more than the UK, which spends about $1,100 per person on defence. How many? 50 were gifted to Ukraine?
Yes, roughly.
Can you tell
50.
us how many are still in service? How many have been lost?
I don't know. We know there is a number lost. We know there is one in a square in Moscow, for example.
And how did that one end up there?
Yeah, we don't know any details, so it's to some sense lost.
And what was I think I'm right in thinking that you've been told that haven't been any Ukrainian casualties in CV90s.
Not as far as we know.
Okay, and what's your experience been when you've met the Ukrainians?
I've been to Ukraine a couple of times, but I will say I met President Zelensky a couple of times, and the biggest impression on me was when he came forward and gave me a hug, and quote, he said, "Your CV90s are saving our soldiers' lives," end quote. I get goosebumps.
That must be quite inspiring for you and your team here.
And that's what we do. That's why we're here. That is to provide the best possible vehicles to the soldiers that defend our democracy.
Thank you again for watching Arms Race. If you do have any questions, any comments, if you think we've made any mistakes, let us know in the comments below. Thank you.